This is ContraZoom, where we go back and forth about film. I'm your host, Dakota Arsenault. We are back with our third annual Oscar Draft podcast. The point of this draft is to pick movies we think will have the most wins come Oscar night. By picking a film, you have the odds to collect points in every category is nominated for. For example, Emilia Pérez leads a pack with 13 nominations, which can give you a maximum of 12 points. It's only 12 because they have 2 nominations in the original song category, which means you can't get an extra point there. Whereas something like Gladiator 2 only has 1 nomination, so it can get 1 point maximum. Joining me today for the third year in a row is Brodie, a screenwriter and contributor to ContraZoomPod.com, and Alex Watson, a friend of the show. Joining the show for a second year in a row is Thomas Stoneham Judge, the owner of the film review publication For Real and a co-founder of the Cascadia Film and Television Critics Association. Welcome back, gentlemen. Thank you for all coming back. It's very nice to see you all here again. Woo!
Great to be back.
We're trying not to talk over each other, and then there it happens.
I'm introducing you all at once. I know, bad me.
All good. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, Brodie. Welcome back.
Thank you. I was very much looking forward to this, so appreciate the invite.
Amazing, Alex. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, doing very well. It's going to be an interesting draft, this one here, since unlike last year, we don't have quite so many heavy hitters. So I'm interesting to see what people's picks are.
So I am really hoping that I do much better this year. Last year, Thomas and Alex both got 7 points with help from Oppenheimer and Poor Things, respectively, while Brodie got 4 points, mostly from the holdovers in the zone of interest, while I only got 1 measly point coming from Barbie's original song win. In the first year, Brodie won that too, with Alex coming in second and myself in third. Rachel Ho came in last place that year. So clearly, Brodie and Alex are the people to beat once again. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, things are pretty simple here. Every one of the 50 nominated films at the Oscars this year are eligible to be picked, which include every above and below the line categories and shorts as well. We will each pick 5 teams in a snake-style draft, and then on my Oscar wrap-up podcast, I will reveal who won the draft. Now, I don't know. I know none of you guys also do the Oscar death race like I do, but I will give my update right now as I have been doing every week. I am currently at 44 out of 50 films. I am only missing all 5 documentary shorts and The Seed of the Sacred Fig from the international category. Does anyone else sort of know where they're at in the Oscar race, or do you not even care about that? I know, Brodie, you were talking a bit beforehand.
Yeah, I've seen about half the Best Picture nominees. I've seen a bunch of the animated feature nominees, some of the shorts. I haven't got to the documentaries yet, but I'm off to a pretty good start, I'd say.
Nice. Alex, do you know approximately how many you've seen?
Not quite as many as you. I would put myself at maybe, I'd say 18 or 19 of them, because I've seen a lot of the I've actually, this year it's a rarity. I'm actually missing a lot of the Best Pictures this year because I didn't get to see unfortunately, I didn't get to see Conclave. I didn't get to see The Brutalist. I didn't get to see Anora. So I'm really playing catch up here. So I'm really, honestly, kind of ashamed to be on this draft this year since my viewing wasn't quite as strong as I wanted it to be.
Well, we'll see if that helps me at all or not this year. What about you, Thomas? Do you know where you're at?
I have seen all the Best Picture nominees, kind of accidentally. I didn't realize it until just now. So, I guess that's one of the benefits of shelling out a bunch of money to go to Toronto. So.
Yeah, you really got to see a bunch of them because they were all playing there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is a video podcast today, so if you normally listen on Spotify, you can watch us today. I don't know if any of you have any questions before we start or any strategies. I know, Alex, you were talking about how there's no heavy hitters this year in the same way that Oppenheimer was last year. Does that give you any sort of a strategy that you're trying to play with?
I think this year it's really going to be about just kind of going with the ones I know kind of for sure may win in their respective categories. But of course, it's all up for debate. I mean, at this point in time, based on the Critics' Choice, the Directors Guild Awards, it's anyone's guess at this point what could win in the big categories.
Yeah. What about you, Thomas? You won last year. Do you have any strategy coming in this year?
Randomly pick like I did last year. No. No, I think that Alex kind of nailed it on the head. There's so much uncertainty. I think, and obviously we've been following the conversation for a while. Me since September with Tiff and everything. And as it is every year, the conversations fluctuate month by month, and I was starting to hear. I'm not going to say it yet. I'm sorry. I was starting to hear a movie become a lot more popular over the last couple weeks. And I'm like, really? That one? That's in conversation now? Okay, well, noted for the draft. So
I think you and me might be thinking the same thing about the same movie, Tom. So we'll see. We'll see
we
what
might
happens.
be.
With that.
Let's may the spinner be ever in your favor.
There we go.
What about you, Brodie? Do you have any sort of strategy you're going in with today?
I think it all depends where you end up picking. Because if you're picking in the first couple spots, you're going to pick something that has a good chance at multiple ones. Whereas if you're hitting cleanup, you're batting 4 or 5 picks, you're going to pick stuff where you're going to pick something that, okay, it's a lock for one, or it's a really good chance for two. Like you got to kind of hedge your bets, because obviously if you're not if you're not picking, some of the real favorites that have a chance at 6 awards, what's the point of picking something that maybe, wins 2?
Yeah. And I think, also different from last year where Oppenheimer was clearly the front runner. Everyone knew that going in. You want that number 1 pick because Oppenheimer had a sort of base level they were going to get. This year, on top of, there doesn't seem to be any movie that looks like it's going to clean up. You also have to add in the fact that it's been quite the chaotic award season so far. I'm going to throw this out here right now. The big question mark is what the hell is happening with Emilia Pérez? We all know the controversy surrounding it. We don't need to kind of get into it. But what is going to be interesting is that going to affect how voting goes? Did they torpedo all of their chances to win? Are they still going to win a couple? Is that going to be enough to have a couple upsets? There's going to be some real stuff in flux. So when I originally made my draft board a few weeks ago, it ended up being very different from how I revised it today, this afternoon before recording, because things look like they're really in flux. And so I made a list of 2 different things, of ones where I think are sort of surefire wins, and then ones where I could see a win. So I calling them yeses and maybes. And my numbers were just fluctuating like crazy, where I now have a movie that like I thought was going to win 4 awards with only 2 maybes now is 2 wins with 4 maybes. And it's like, what does this all mean? I don't know. So this is going to be really interesting, and I don't know if any of us has any sort of advantage right now.
I'm on my third draft of my draft. So literally mine's changed a lot in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, we're kind of the same there.
And just remember, first overall pick doesn't always mean anything.
No. Yes, yeah. I don't know if being the first is as beneficial as it might have been in past years.
Yeah. We all remember Rachel's Elvis pick, don't we? Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting at, yeah.
Yes. All right. So the way this is going to work is I have a spinner. I got this website from a good friend of the show, Ethan Simi, host of the Movie Draft podcast, where he does movie drafts all the time. And this is how he does it. And so on this spinner on my phone, I will hold it up to the camera. It has all 4 of our names on here. You can see them all. I'm going to spin it. And then once someone is picked, I'm going to remove their name, and they'll be down to 3 and then down to 2 and so on and so forth. So let us give it a go and see where we're at. Here I am pressing it. For people that are only listening, I'm going to try to narrate what's happening. And oh no.
Come on.
Oh,
dang.
Rigged,
you know what? I demand a recount.
I honestly
that was too close.
This is more rigged than the Conor Bedard draft.
I don't feel happy with this. So here, second overall, we've got Alex. It looks like.
Third year in a row, that second. Third overall.
So now it's just down to Brodie and Thomas for the last pick. It's spinning. Looks like it's probably going to end up being Brodie once it stops.
No, keep going. Come on.
Okay. So I'm just going to start my chart here. So it's Dakota, Alex, Brodie, and Thomas. Now, Thomas, the one good thing you have as fourth is you have 2 picks in a row, which is going to make things interesting.
All you guys have to do is not pick the top 3. So
cool. Yeah. Easy, right?
Go all for right, shorts. So I guess that should be your strategy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do have some favorites there, so I'll do that. Oh man, I really didn't want to go first. I was hoping, second was what I was kind of hoping for because I was hoping to have this power taken away from me. I don't feel comfortable picking this. I don't know. I can't not do it. The Brutalist is my number one pick. I'm
That would
not
have been mine.
super confident in it. I have it
Yeah.
right now as four yeses and four maybes. But even that, I'm not confident. Like, is it still the front runner to win Best Picture? I don't know. I think it's probably got Best Actor, maybe Best Director. And then what else we got here? The score, I think it might be the front runner for, and then maybe a toss up for either production design or editing. So I don't really know. I think it's safe for at least 2 to 3 wins, which I think can help me do well. But outside of that, I have no idea how the Brutalist is going to do. Um, yeah, so that's that. Alex, you're up next. What are
On the
you
clock.
thinking to? What are
I've
your
been
thoughts?
I've been debating this all day, and the one I'm going to go with a pick that could potentially be, it's high risk, but it also could be high reward. Thank you for Rachel to describing it this way to me. I'm going to go with Anora for my first pick. It's high risk, I know, but hear me out. Over the last few weeks, it's really gained a lot of traction in the awards categories. It won a lot at the Critics' Choice. Sean Baker got the award at the Directors Guild of America. I just think it's one of those movies that it could, on Oscar night, sneak in there. I mean, I still think The Brutalist is the one for me to beat in Best Picture, but I still think at the same point it could also be an option for Best Director as well. I know I could see it winning at least two or three.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. And like what happens with Mikey Madison, what happens with the screenplay, I don't know. This could be a sneaky dark horse pick where
Yeah,
it could
Mikey
end up.
Madison, I really like her for Best Actress, but there's one actress who I just really want to see win, but I don't want to give my pick away, unfortunately. So yes.
Yeah. All right, Brodie, you're up. What is going to be your first pick?
It's down to two. Um,
I'm very interested to see if I have the same consensus top four as everyone else. So
yeah,
far,
well,
my
there's two that I'm between two. I'm going to go with the substance just because I think it's going to win at least makeup for sure.
Whoa.
And
That was what I was
prob
thinking of for that.
Demi Moore won the Golden Globe. I know Anora, like we were talking about this, is looking betting odds. Like it's kind of neck and neck. And I think even the screenplay has a shot in terms of original stuff because it is a very original screenplay. So it was a tough call between that, and I'm sure the one of the two that Thomas will probably end up picking. But I'm going to go with that because I think it'll
Oh
win a
my
couple.
gosh. You guys gave me too big of a sandbox to play in. Uh
Enjoy.
oh my god. No, I want 3 picks.
you
I know
got
I'm
two.
kind of privileged
Don't
with
be too
2 at
greedy.
right now. This is, you know what, guys? I'm gonna go for volume. Let's do it. Uh Emilia Perez
Okay.
and Wicked.
Oh,
Oh,
Let's go.
Ooh, okay. So what are
interesting.
what are your thoughts on where you think might pick up some points there for those two?
You know what? I'm so interested in if Hollywood is going to continue shoehorning Emilia Perez into the consciousness of everyone, regardless of whether we like it or not. Um, and or if they're going to pull back on it and it's just going to win nothing. So this, I think, is the high risk, high reward option here because there isn't a reality where Hollywood just like forces this movie down everyone's throat. And gives it a few wins. I feel like Zoe Saldana is a really solid lock for best supporting actress.
Yes.
Um, so so I think that there's something to be won there. But who knows how many? We'll see about that.
Hmm.
And Wicked again. We're looking at the 10 nominations. As a musical, I kind of have a feeling that the music sound departments, might skew towards that.
Hmm.
Again, the overall strategy here is volume. I got 13 nominations for Emilia Perez and 10 nominations for Wicked. I'm going all in on the musicals, y'all.
Yeah, no, I think that's fairly solid. I still think Emilia Perez is going to get two, and that's supporting actress in song. Outside of that, I think there's a
Mhm.
lot of crapshoots. I don't know where that's going to go. And Wicked, the same thing. I think sound is probably a good lock for that. And then who knows where else it might surprise.
Mhm.
Maybe if Emilia Perez doesn't win supporting actress, Ariana Grande does. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that
Absolutely.
that is an
So,
option. All right, Brody,
all
you're
right.
back up to go. What is your next pick?
I'm gonna go Dune 2 because I think it's probably guaranteed to get at least a couple technical awards. Yeah,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
effects,
I think it's pretty
like
safe.
yeah, like
Yeah.
at least one. Like I'm gonna guarantee myself. I think at least one, hopefully a couple. So
I think it'll be
Yeah,
definitely win the visual effects and probably sound. I'm thinking is the other one it'll win.
yeah, I'm hoping.
yeah. I think Dune is at least going to walk away with one, maybe two, but I'm not sure which of them. I think you can probably mix and match between the different technical categories that it might be winning, and you could be right on any combination sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, we're back to you. What is going to be your second pick?
My second pick is going to be Conclave because I think the big categories, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get the big awards because I mean, I love seeing Ray Fiennes nominated. I love seeing Isabella Rossellini nominated, but Best Picture, all those kind of awards, it's not going to make too much of a dent. The big chance I think it has is winning the adapted screenplay. I think that's
Yeah.
where it's
Oh,
because it won the Golden Globe for it. I think in that category, I would say it's probably the one to beat. I would say.
yeah.
Hmm.
I love that script. It was brilliant, brilliantly written.
Yeah, and with all this sort of chaos that's going on, especially in the preferential ballot in the Best Picture race, who knows if maybe Conclave, which may or may not be considered the safest pick, ends up pretty high. It might end up being a sneaky Best Picture winner too.
Yeah.
All right, so for my next pick, I am going to go with one that I think I've got a pretty safe bet to get two wins in, and that's a real pain. I think Kieran Culkin has supporting actor locked up, and I think original screenplay has a pretty good shot at winning that as well too. So it's very much it's got a low amount of nominations, but I think it's going to get a high percentage in terms of hitting them.
If you look at the sites for betting odds, it's not even worth putting money down on him to win.
Yep.
Like that's how much of a favorite he is. Like of
Yeah.
any of the categories, he's clear away, like ahead of everybody else.
Hmm. All right, so that is the end of round two. I've got another pick here again, and that takes all of my top 8 films off the board. We're all sort of in the same alignment of where these things will land. Now, I think this round is going to start to get interesting. It's basically a whole bunch of maybes. Are you going to be able to sort of luck into an award here or not? Or if you're going for one of the films that maybe only has one nomination and it wins its only nomination, I'm thinking either documentary or animated or even international sort of thing. So this is where it's going to get real dicey, and I can either go volume with one of the movies, basically the last big nominated film left, or I can maybe go for more of a sure thing. And I'm not quite sure. I feel like I need to go with the sure thing, and I'm going to be taking the Wild Robot, which I think is probably going to win animated.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure, but I think that's where it's going to go. So I'm leaving the volume to the side for now. And Alex, I will let you make your third round pick.
I'm gonna go with one that's I don't know how much of a chance it has in these three categories it's in, but I like it for maybe at least one of them, and that is my number one film of last year, Nosferatu. Because it's in costume design, it's in hair and makeup, it's in cinematography. I think maybe the costume design it does have a good
Hmm.
chance in because I really love how it created it really recreated the gothic look that it needed, while all the while kind of being influenced by Batman Returns. I mean, cinematography, I would like it to be in that one, but I think the Brutalist could really be the big one to be in that category. And hair and makeup, well, look at the other nominees in that category. I mean, there's a lot of good options there, but I think at least one of them it could walk away with Nosferatu.
Yeah, I think it could be a sneaky contender for cinematography based on the things I've been seeing in the last couple of days, that Academy members are really digging the look of this movie.
Yeah, it was
Martin
honestly
Scorsese loves it.
beautiful. Okay.
And then so up next is Brodie. So you can go up next, and tell us what your third round pick is.
Um, I'm gonna go with a complete unknown because I think anytime you get a biopic, famous guy Bob Dylan, Mangold's a director they know. It's got a shot. It's not obviously a heavy favorite or anything, but I feel like it could pick up one somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I think that's a very solid pick. That's the one I was referring to as the last volume pick.
Okay.
I feel like it's, maybe second or third place in a lot of categories. And if there's
Yeah,
upsets that happen, this could be one of the films that really benefits from upsets.
yeah.
All right, Thomas, you are back up with your next two picks. So what do you got for your third round pick?
I'm re-strategizing. Um, well, let's go with I'm Still Here because I feel like that's a lot for best international film. So we're gonna do that, and Nickel Boys.
Ooh, okay. So
Yeah.
what's your thought process for picking these two films?
Well, so I feel very confident about I'm Still Here for best international film. Um, Feeling really good about that. Nickel Boys. I just I would like screenplay for that one, but I don't know. Film editing is a strong one for that. Um, I don't know. I like the film. I'm just kind of championing it, really.
Yeah, Nickel
So,
Boys unfortunately only has the two nominations in picture and adapted screenplay. It sadly missed out in editing, which is a huge shock.
oh,
Yeah,
did it?
because its
Oh,
editing is probably its
my bad.
best
Okay.
aspect.
Yep, you're right. Okay, my
Yeah,
bad.
no,
Yeah. So those two. I'm just championing it, and I had to switch my strategy at the last
all
minute.
good, all good. I think your pick of "I'm Still Here" is really solid because now you have, Emilia Perez was the front runner for international, and that's in question. And I think if anyone benefits, it's "I'm Still Here." And
Hmm.
so I was actually hoping that "I'm Still Here" was going to
Yeah.
be around for my next pick because that's what I was going to get, and because there's also the Fernanda Torres thing where maybe she is the second place comer up behind Demi
Hmm.
Moore for best actress as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting.
Yep.
All right, Brodie, what do you have for your fourth round pick?
Um, I'm gonna go with Wander to Wonder, or is it what?
Wander to
It's
Wonder,
really
yeah.
short. Yeah, whenever, I've heard a little bit of buzz about it. I know it's one of the betting favorites, and I figure you got to try and pick one of the favorites for the shorts, and usually that comes through. So I mean, I know it can
Mhm.
only win one because there's no volume picks left now. So try and pick a favorite.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting pick. I watched all the animated shorts, and it's kind of like if Ari Aster tried to do a children's program. It's pretty messed up
Interesting.
at times, but
No,
very
I
interesting.
definitely got to watch it.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see. I love the animation in it.
It's,
It's really cool.
yeah.
But yeah, interesting pick. Alex, what is your fourth round pick?
I'm going to go for my, as we're kind of really down to the the drills of the category. I'm going to go with one that has two different nominations. That is the movie Flow, best animated and best foreign film, and it won the Golden Globe for best animated features. So I'm interested to see, like, does it kind of upset the Wild Robot in this category? It's one of those kind of could be good picks.
Yeah, I have it as a bit of a coin toss of who's going to win
Hmm.
animated between Wild Robot and Flow. I think it can go either way, and the fact that it's also in international really helps you maybe it get a bit more love there.
Yeah, that's so. I just thought it's one of those where the Wild Robot's got so many big nominations, but I don't know. I mean, an animated film getting nominated for best international as well, that kind of strengthens its case a little bit.
Hmm. All right, so I've got two choices, and they are my last two choices. So I need to round out my team here, and oh boy. All right, I think I'm going to pick No Other Land from the documentary category. I I
Interesting.
think it's the front runner, but I can also see Oscar voters getting cold feet in not wanting to pick something. This is probably one of the most political films in years, and so it's going to be really interesting to sort of see how voting goes. It didn't even get distribution in the United States, as far as I recall. I don't know if they ended up getting it or not. I think they ended up self-distributing it, like basically having to front the money to theater chains in order to get it screened, which is crazy. I watched it. It's a very powerful film. I think it's the best of the crop. Will it win? I don't know. I'm mostly just, talking here because I'm still trying to decide what my last pick should be, and I don't really know. All right. I think I'm going to do something crazy. I think I'm going to pick a short. And that is.
Don't take me. Don't take me.
Which one is it, Thomas? Which one should I not take?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
I am picking Alien.
God dang it. Man, look, okay, we were all at VIF when it played there, okay?
This is in the live action short category, and my rationale for this is, one, it is the only English language film, and that usually has a very strong track record in a live action short category, and two, it's about immigration and deportations that are going on in the States. Specifically, you see Trump in the short, a news clip of him. I think this is such a hot topic button that I think Oscar voters are going to gladly vote for it, whether or not they think it's the best short or not. I personally didn't really care for the short. I thought it was a little weak, but you cannot deny its timeliness and its political nature because of that. So Alex, why don't you tell us what your last pick is going to be?
Oh my god, I'm actually at this point where I'm like thinking, what should I pick? I'm literally at that point. I'm thinking, wow, well, the barrel is dry. At this point, I'm gonna go with Sing Sing, because it's gotten 3 nominations. It's got Best Original Song. It's got Coleman Domingo for Best Actor, and I'm surprised it wasn't nominated for Best Picture as well. But it's one of those where I don't know. I guess it's because I really want Coleman Domingo to win an Oscar. That's kind of my wishful pick, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the third one it's nominated in is Best Original Song. Frankly, it's my favorite song of the crop, so any one of its categories, I would love for it to win, because I do love Sing Sing, and it's a real shame that it sort of underperformed at the Oscars when it really should have been one of the Best Picture contenders and stuff like that. I know Thomas is shaking his head in agreement. What a disservice it did this film. Stupid A24.
I know, man. Don't get me started. That's a podcast.
All right, Brodie, what is your final pick?
I'm going to pick The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. It's another kind of political based. It's a short. And to your point, I think it's, again, topical, something that might draw some voters in.
Yeah, once you sort of get to the couple shorts in, it's really sort of hard to tell where voting will go. It'll be interesting to sort of see if this one ends up winning its category or not. I don't know. Yeah. All right, so we're going to round it out with you, Thomas. What is your final pick?
Guys, I don't know. You know what? Let me just look at this one more time.
Have 4 films from my top 20 list that have not been picked yet. So I think you have some options here.
Well, I'm looking at a category, and Dakota, you pick the one that you think is going to win this category. But I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I don't know. I haven't heard much about it. Let's go with Black Box Diaries. I don't know. So I was thinking about No Other Land, but 20 Days in Mariupol last year was kind of a political pick last year, and so I don't know. Maybe politics is something that we don't want to vote on as much this year in documentary. I don't know. And I enjoyed I think Black Box Diaries is a really compelling documentary. Of course, we have to think about these things in terms of what the Academy is most likely going to vote for, rather than what I enjoyed most. But Yeah, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction and try to choose something a little less like geographically politically charged, um, and go with Black Box
I
Diaries.
will say, that film directly references the Me Too movement as well, and I wonder if maybe
Hmm.
that's something that resonates with
That's true.
voters.
Yeah, it's exactly, and I mean that's why I was thinking about it. I mean, there's the geographical, political aspect of documentaries, but this is more of a social, political aspect, which could still have some resonance, and it's a Sundance film, and that bodes well for documentaries.
All right, so
So,
we've concluded our drafting. I want each of us in the order we went to sort of read out our teams, and then afterwards, share any thoughts on your own team and who you think might be the winner, who drafted the best. So I will start. My team was the Brutalist, A Real Pain, The Wild Robot, No Other Land, and Alien. Alex, what was your team?
My team was Anora, Conclave, Flow, Nosferatu, and Sing Sing.
And Brodie?
I have The Substance, A Complete Unknown, Dune 2, Wonder to Wonder, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent.
And Thomas?
yeah, I've got Black Box Diaries, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, and
All right, so
Wicked.
yeah, those are our teams. Looking at my team, I'm pretty happy here. I have no idea how the Brutalist is going to do. I think I'm going to live and die by that pick. I feel like I won't come in last place this year. That's the only thing that I sort of feel confident about. In terms of who I think has the best team, oh man, I think we're all sort of equally spread out.
Yeah.
I really like Alex's picks.
Mhm.
So I think if I were to pick a winner, an early favorite, it might be Alex, but I'm not totally sure.
Ooh, don't
Alex,
say that.
what do you think of your team, and who do you think has the best team?
Yes.
Um, Honestly, again, I think you said it perfectly. It's kind of an even spread. I think all of us here, I think, have really strong teams. I mean, all of us here
Hmm.
picked movies. Either, for example, in Thomas's case, he got great volume with Emilia Perez and Wicked. Brodie, he's got some of the kind of smaller ones that could maybe definitely win in those particular categories. You've got the Brutalist. I've got Anora, which could either get me a lot of wins or I could go away with absolutely nothing. So yeah, it's like I said, high risk, high reward.
Yeah. Brody, what about your thoughts on your team, and do you see a favorite?
One of you or Alex, to be honest. I think the volume will help you guys out. I think my team will be consistent, but I don't know that there's enough there volume wise to kind of overtake. Like if the Brutalist has a really good night, if Anora has a really good night, they're going to win multiples. Whereas mine, there's a few that could win a couple, but I don't see a path to winning like 10 points for me. But I think everything will be consistent.
Hmm. And Thomas, what about you?
Yeah, looking, I just don't know if there's going to be a runaway film this year. I don't know if we're going to have a five, six, seven Oscar winner film this year. Um, I am happy with my volume. I'm happy with my chances. I'm kind of happy I have a reason to root for Honora, I guess, or not Honora, but Emilia Perez. I mean, like, I didn't totally hate that movie. I mean, should it have gotten 13
Mhm.
nominations? No. But since it did,
Yeah.
join my team. Uh, and yeah, so I'm feeling pretty great about the volume that I have between Emilia Perez and Wicked. I'm going to be very sad if both of them just like strike out for whatever reason, and then I'll never do this again. So yeah.
Looking around at all of our teams, I sort of feel that like we all have a floor of about 2 to 3 wins, and then it's just how big is the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to put it because I kind of see
Yeah.
the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's going to be really interesting to tell. But yeah, there you have it. That's our draft. That's a lot of fun, as always. And I will reveal the winner after the Oscars happen and the Oscar wrap up podcast. Gentlemen, I really appreciate you all coming on here today. If you all want to go around and sort of say if you want people to follow you on social media or anything that you're working on, please highlight that. Thomas, we'll start with you.
Yeah, everyone, you can. So I'm still working on Sundance content, and already picking nominees for next year's Oscars because of Sundance. So you can see all of my content, my team's content from Sundance at thisisforreal.com. For real, of course, spelled FORREEL. And I have some podcast ideas that I will also be executing here in the next few weeks. So if you follow us on social media, This Is For Real on most social platforms, then you will be in tune with what's going on.
Fantastic.
With Korea.
Brodie, what about you?
Well, your Letterbox shirt reminded me. My short to gift, it's now posted on Letterboxd. So if you guys, I know Dakota was very kind to give me a review. If you guys want to go online and share it, you can review it on Letterboxd. And still working on some other script stuff here in town. So it's hurry up and wait, but fingers crossed.
It's a solid 3.5-star movie.
All right.
No, 5 stars. 5
Take it.
stars.
Take it.
I will, of course, link to that in the show notes. Alex, what about you?
You can find me in a couple of places. You can find me on Letterboxd at AW4FilmSquawk. I'm also on Instagram at Al_Watson1. And you can find me on Blue Sky at Flowering Snows.
I will make sure to link to everyone's links that they mentioned there in the show notes. Once again, I appreciate all of you guys for coming on today.
Thanks so much for having us.
Anytime.
This has been a That Shelf podcast. Visit thatshelf.com for more great film discourse. Follow the show on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at ContraZoomPod. Who has the best team? Leave a comment on Spotify or send us an email. Thank you to Eric and Kevin Smale for the theme music and Stephanie Pryor for the logo design. If you like to listen to podcasts on YouTube, we do post all episodes there as well. And if you really like the show, consider tipping us on coffee. Thanks for checking us out.